Just a few days ago, we had a video about Rusev possibly going to AEW. Now we have some major updates on the situation. We're going to talk about it right here, right now on DPW. Get notified every time a new video drops. Make sure you click that subscribe button and ring the bell for more pro wrestling news.
You have arrived at your destination.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ango. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, merchandise, tip jar, DPW Plus, all of those links in the description. And today we are talking about Rusev and AEW because everybody remembers the good old days of Rusev Day. And a lot of people have been very curious on what it would be like if Rusev went to AEW. So if you take a look at this photo, I'm going to tell you guys that this probably wouldn't be the scenario for Rusev and AEW. For a couple of reasons. One, Lana probably isn't going to AEW. Lana is still currently contracted to WWE. She is still married to Lashley on WWE television. And that whole thing is kind of a joke. So we know that Rusev going to AEW is a real possibility. Jim Ross also spoke out on this potential rumor. But I want to kind of talk a little bit more deeply about the situation of Rusev, because there are some rumors about how Rusev could be booked in AEW. And it's something that I've alluded to in the past, but these rumors are getting stronger and stronger. Come July, when Rusev may be eligible to sign with AEW, it is being expected that Rusev would come in as a top heel in the company. Now, I find that to be very interesting, but when you hear the comments that came from Jim Ross recently, it does sound pretty reasonable. Now, the comments that I read from Jim Ross were simple. Rusev would be my top priority. That's who I'd want to go after because I can see him having some major pay-per-view main event matches with a variety of top talents in our company, AEW. Anyone would be smart to hire him. Now, I actually agree with Jim Ross 1000%, and I 100% agree with the notion that Rusev should be a top foreign heel in the company. Now, for some people who think that top foreign heels are like a overused thing in pro wrestling, it is. However, with AEW, it is something that is actually needed in the company. It's not something that they really have at this moment. And I think everybody knows that deep down inside, they want this to happen. They want Rusev Day to be a thing. They want the crowd to be chanting Rusev Day. So I think when you really look at the idea of Rusev going into AEW as a top heel, having major matches with Moxley, Jericho, I think even having him against Luchasaurus or other people that are just we've never seen before, Joey Janela. These are matchups that we haven't seen. Obviously, Moxley, Jericho, yeah, we've seen those. But the AEW guys, nonetheless, versing Rusev could be very special. Rusev coming in as a heel only makes more sense because eventually we can have something like this. And I think AEW knows the connection that Rusev had with the fans in WWE, and eventually this would be the goal. Now, my only concern that I've had with AEW is there is an abundant amount of heels in the company. There are a lot of heels in the company, and quite frankly, I feel like they know how to book heels way better than baby faces. But that's something that they'll eventually have to figure it out, and I think when you look at Rusev, this is a guy that can do both very well. What I find to be even much more interesting is that Rusev is known to be a little bit of a funny guy. We've all seen some of his social media posts. We've all seen some of the backstage segments with WWE. Rusev is somebody I don't want to see as a comedy character, but I would like to see Rusev implement some sort of sarcasm, some sort of comedy into his role, because I think that's what's going to make the foreign heel a little bit different. I want to see Rusev more as a tweener. But I want to see him slide more towards the heel side versus the babyface, because I think once he makes that full babyface, again, I think this is what we would expect. I found it to be very interesting that there is no one female in the company that I think that can manage Rusev right now. So it only gets me to believe that maybe one day when Lana's situation is over, she could potentially go to AEW as well. And that's the thing. WWE splitting up this couple just didn't make sense because Rusev is obviously better between the two. But WWE just doesn't see anything in Rusev. Jim Ross sees something in Rusev. AEW sees something in Rusev. And Rusev going to AEW, I think at this point, not only does it make sense for the matchups and the storylines, but it also makes sense for AEW to really show that they can do things better than WWE. Because many of you who are watching this video are probably getting ready to type away. You're probably grabbing your keyboard. You're grabbing your keyboard and you're like, right? You're typing away and you're thinking, oh, AEW shouldn't sign all of the WWE stars. And guys, you're not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong. AEW should not sign all of the WWE stars. But we cannot blame AEW signing WWE stars based on the fact that TNA did long time ago. Because when TNA signed WWE stars, they didn't really do anything interesting or anything new with them. They didn't really repurpose these superstars. We have to learn how AEW is going to treat former WWE guys. We've seen them do some very different stuff with Jake Hager. Jake Hager, aka Jack Swagger, is an MMA guy at Bellator. AEW is implementing that. Jon Moxley, we pretty much knew what Jon Moxley was going to be before he even left WWE because Dean Ambrose was such a watered down version of Jon Moxley. I also don't believe that Jon Moxley is Jon Moxley because of AEW. I think AEW has given Dean Ambrose the creative freedom to be the true Jon Moxley that he wants to be, and that's why we're seeing that happen. And then I think when you look at a guy like Brody Lee, the Dark Order is very different from the Wyatt family. I think, we're starting to see these guys being used in a very, 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 very different light. So for all those who are typing away thinking that AEW shouldn't sign former WWE guys, shame on you. Give it some time and see how they actually do with former WWE guys. Again, this is not TNA. TNA took WWE guys, put them in a faction, put them as a heel, put them as a babyface, just did some generic stuff as if they were still in WWE. I think there were very few WWE guys who went to TNA and actually did something different. And now look at Impact Wrestling, because I know a lot of you guys hate on Impact, but Impact has done a really, really good job of putting some meaning behind the characters on its show. So therefore, I'm going to say AEW should be given a chance to see what they can do. With Rusev being gone from WWE, the only thing that sucks is Rusev will not be his name. I think he will use his real name, Miro, and I think it's going to make a lot of sense. I joked about it on Twitter. He should become Broken with Matt Hardy and become Broken Miro, but nonetheless, that was a really stupid joke. We have a lot of potential with this guy in AEW. I think AEW will get the job done. I think they could do it the right way. And I think AEW ultimately as a company, after so many times, it's going to show WWE that they did it wrong. And they keep getting it wrong. We're going to see it with Brody Lee. We're going to see it with Spears. We're going to see it with Moxley. We're going to see it with Jericho. WWE is going to look at these guys and be like, damn, why are they so popular? And it's because WWE knew what they had was popular, but they always will go back to the same issue they've had forever. And that's if WWE didn't create them or mold them into the star that they became, WWE gets rid of them. Which is really interesting when you consider Rusev was pretty much an NXT-made talent. FCW, NXT, WWE just kind of dropped the ball, but that's just kind of the way it goes, guys. That's just kind of the way it goes. So yeah, AEW is interested in signing Rusev. The speculation, the rumors out there suggest that Rusev will be in AEW this summer and he will be in some main event matches ready to go. It makes a lot of sense. I'm excited to see what happens, but I want to know what you guys think. And as always, if you want to become a DPW Plus member, we have the 24/7 Championship, the TNT Championship, and the World Championship. 99 cents, $2.99, $4.99 a month. And if you guys don't want to do a monthly subscription, you guys just want to support the channel maybe on a one-time occurrence, we have a tip jar in the comment section, in the links in the description below, and social media and merchandise as well. We've actually sold quite a few shirts this past week, so I just want to say shout out to everybody who has actually been contributing to the channel, especially during this time. I know it's rough, but nonetheless, guys, take care of yourself and your families during this time, and make sure you guys stay subscribed to DPW and ring that bell, because you guys will get notified on literally all of the latest content happening in this channel. If you guys want a discount off the merch, use code ANGO for 20% off, and you guys will get a nice little discount right there. All right, guys, this is your boy Ango. Like I said, all the links in the description. More pro wrestling news coming your way on DPW. I'll see you next time. Get notified every time a new video drops. Make sure you click that subscribe button and ring the bell for more pro wrestling news.
have arrived at your destination.